Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of F1 2017 Career Mode. I'm afraid the Bahrain Grand Prix footage was lost, so today we're kicking off with Russia, the Russian Grand Prix. In all honesty, I can't even remember the result from the Bahrain Grand Prix. I think it was a good race, maybe in the points. Honestly, cannot remember. But yeah, on to Russia. So we're kicking things off here with first qualifying session. Left it to the end of the session. Try and get the best out of the track. Car performance was reasonable, but it's quite straight line heavy. Heavy reliance on straight line speed at Russia. So the Renault was not too bad, but yeah, still a lot of upgrading left to go. So I'll leave you on board with the first lap. So round the last corner, still enough time to carry on and do another lap, but P12, not too shabby. Looking for a little bit more improvement in the lap time. Car feels a bit unstable in that fast chicane just before the pit entrance. Has done all weekend with this setup really. So 2.5 tenths up in the first sector so far. The car, honestly, through this banked left-hander just feels incredible. You can do it at full throttle, 8th gear, and not really struggle for traction or understeer. 3 tenths up in the first split. Coming into the middle sector now, this is where the corners start to get sort of fast, but in quick succession. And it's important to get the suspension set up right so that you can really throw it into these corners. Down onto the back straight, DRS wide open, looking at nearly half a second up so far on this lap. Got some traffic up ahead, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem because I'd assume that they're also on their qualifying laps as well. It looks like a Ferrari and maybe a Sauber to me. So this is the corner where the car feels a bit twitchy on the back end. The back end just wants to step out on you on all. When you hit those two curbs, into the final two corners, really throw it in. You can run it out wide there and not really lose any time. Dive down and across the line for P10 in Quali 1. And across the line for P13 in Quali 1. So back here again, qualifying 2, again left it to the end of the session. Didn't really want to risk putting too much stress on the engine this early on in the season, and the track rubbers in as the sessions progress. So if you're going to do one lap, you're better off doing the lap towards the end of the session anyway. 35.1 in the first sector. 4 tenths off Sebastian Vettel's pole time. Bit of traffic up ahead. Just a Haas car in the way. Should be no problem. We're coming up to it on the DRS straight anyway. But again, I'd assume it's either on an out lap or in its qualifying lap anyway. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Back end just steps out just a little bit too much there, too much for my liking. DRS wide open. Looks like the Haas hasn't got his DRS open. Oh, maybe. Drop it down, nice little overtake. Run it out wide. Back end just steps out just a little bit, but keep your foot down and the car brings itself back in. Again, back end steps out in the chicane. Clip the wall. Use all of the available track. That's my advice on this circuit. Use every available space. Run it out when you can. Nice runoff areas. And around the last corner. Over the line. Again, P10. Carry on and see if there's any potential for improvement. DRS open. Doesn't seem like the track's going to give us all that much delta time. Still seem to be in the red. So we dropped down to P13 in qualifying 1, so I just wanted to try and see if there was any possible improvements to be made on the track at all. Seems like we're up just a little bit. I mean, if you're out at this point in the session anyway and you've got the fuel, you may as well carry on. No harm in doing an extra lap at the end of the session. There's always time to be found. 2 tenths up so far in the second sector. 1.5 tenths up the split time. Into the final sector where it gets all nice and twisty. Run it out wide, just a little bit too much. And the back end just stepped out of me and straight into the wall, and that was session over for me. So not too bad there, not a bad qualifying session, but that is session over for us. And yeah, on to the race, I guess. Better luck tomorrow. See what happens in the race. So again, not seeing any of Crofty's waffling beforehand. If you get any of that FOM graphics coming up, you cannot put that online. The video will be taken down, so best just to skip, not include it. Good getaway off the formation. P16 in the end is what we ended up with, right alongside our teammate, and yeah, I guess just hope for a points finish. Kimi Räikkönen leads the pack round on the formation lap and lining up on the grid, close as you like to the teammate. So it's P16 for the Russian Grand Prix. Let's see what we can do. 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're off. Great lightning start, straight around the Toro Rosso, up into rich mix even though we're a bit low on fuel. Hug the inside line, but watch for anybody on the inside. Nico Hulkenberg's on our left. Everyone seems to have got away cleanly, which makes a change, and dives straight up the inside into the second and third corners. Slight contact with the Haas there, but nothing too bad. Round the long turn 4 and down into turn 5. Can we get Daniel Ricciardo? Yes, we can. Straight up the inside, nice and easy on the brakes. The key is make up all the time in the first lap. Again, up the inside of Perez. Not quite. Had a look, thought better of it. Oh, just the ever so slightest touch with Perez there, lucky not to get any damage to the front wing. I'm of course running simulation damage, and yeah, even the finest of touches seem to be knocking off the front wing. Tuck into Perez's slipstream as we come onto the back straight, and hope for a nice toe down into the hairpin at the bottom end. Just not quite able to keep up with that Mercedes power. Drop it down into the hairpin and up the inside of Perez. Caught him napping there, got great traction off that hairpin. And up into P6, so yeah, there's lap 1, guys. Made some nice progress, 10 places. The key is if you can get a good start, the AI is so timid into turn 1 that, yeah, if you've got nothing to lose, well, why not stick it up the inside? So, back on Max Verstappen. Back on Max Verstappen coming on to lap 2. And I mean, they're not pulling away just yet. I mean, the top two are the Mercedes and the Ferrari in first and second. They're pulling away, but yeah, keeping Verstappen nice and close so far. He's not building up much of a lead. Vettel and Hamilton fighting side by side. So the two Finns are out front. Bottas has got the jump on Raikkonen. Can we get up the inside? Oh, just slightest contact with Vettel there on his back right wheel. And we've got some minor damage to the front wing. Nothing too major, doesn't seem to be affecting handling all that much. I find that if you get any damage on the front wing, the opposite side to the damage is the corners that you struggle with. So if you get damage to the front left of the wing, you're going to struggle with the right hand corners. Get damage to the right of the wing, you're going to struggle with the left hand corners. But I mean, I was running quite a high mechanical grip setup anyway, so I was able to throw it into the corners. It didn't seem to be affecting me all that much. Cut the wall ever so slightly. MG UK damage already. When that message comes through, it's just heartbreaking. Hopefully aiming to have most of the durability upgrades done by the end of the season, so we can get a good start to season 2 on reliability. But yeah, there, MG UK, MG UH and the TC are all sort of 50% plus wear, and it's only race 4. It's not really a great sign for things to come when these engine pieces are supposed to last 5 races. So coming down into turn 5, and a nice big lockup from Hamilton there, and a collision. So let's take a look on board with Hamilton as to what happened. So he comes down into turn 5, locks his wheel up, tries to regain, and I just come steaming down. And yeah, he's lucky not to have lost his wheel there. So have a look in slow motion. So I've already done my braking, I'm turning in for the corner, he's coming back towards the racing line, and it's just the finest of wheel touches there, but it's enough to knock us right out of the race. And yeah, that was pretty much it, guys. I mean, we only made it to lap 3, but we made some good progress. But yeah, that's race over for us, I'm afraid. And on to the next one, I guess, in Spain. So thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you want to see some more. Spain will be out shortly, and I'll just keep making them when I record them and when I've got time to voice over. I'm not going to keep to any particular schedule, but yeah, stay tuned for some more. Cheers, guys, bye. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of F1 2017 Career Mode. I'm afraid the Bahrain Grand Prix footage was lost, so today we're kicking off with Russian Grand Prix. In all honesty, I can't even remember the result from the Bahrain Grand Prix. I think it was a good race, maybe it was a points. Honestly, I can't remember. But yeah, into Russia. So I'm kicking things off here with first qualifying session. Left it to the end of the session, trying to get the best out of the track. Car performance was reasonable, but it's quite skill heavy. Reliance on straight line speed of pictures, so the running was not too bad, but yeah, still a lot of work left to go, so I'll leave one for the first lap. So Romans last corner, still and to carry on and do another lap, but P12, too shabby. Looking for a little bit more improvement. So Roman last corner, still enough time to carry on and do another lap, but P12, too shabby. Looking for a little bit more improvement in that time. Captain's a bit unstable in that flash chicane just before the flash chicane just before the entrance. Feels a bit unstable. Flash chicane just before the with this so 2.5 tenths up in the first sector so far. Big car obviously through this event. Still enough time to carry on and do another lap. I've got P12 to so Roman last corner, still enough time to carry on and do another lap. I've got P12, too shabby. Looking for a little bit more improvement in that time. Can't feel as well stable. Flash chicane for connections. Has done all weekend with this